Over the last decade, we've seen a significant shift in the way society views women, and as we continue our focus on women today, CNBC Africa's Oluwatosin Olasayin, they caught up with Doyin Odunfa. She's the Managing Director of Digital Jewels, and she started by asking her what she considers to be the role of women in economic development in Africa and how they are thriving at that. Take a look.
I consider women to be co-pilots with men, the male counterparts in the development of Africa. I see them really as the mainstay of nation building because they have many roles, and all of those roles impact nation building. They impact the development of the continent, whether it's the more traditional roles of women as homemakers, as mothers. They're the ones who have the greatest influence on the children, their value system, and the kind of outlook that they grow up with. If we neglect that role, we will end up with vagabonds and thieves. And even the support that they provide, many of them, for their husbands to be able to run their own careers effectively is also important. And then we move on to other roles, for example, in business, where we've seen women excel in just about every field of business. African women excel globally in fashion, in business, in governance and policy making.
As you said, the role of women in business and finance. Today, women are making decisions that impact their lives, their education and career. What would you consider to be the role of women in business?
Women can do anything they put their mind to. I think that women bring to bear some innate skills that help them to thrive in business, whether as employees or as entrepreneurs. Women generally are multitasking because they're brought up to do so many things at the same time. So those multitasking skills help. They tend to be more intuitive, I believe, than their male counterparts. They tend to be more balanced, and they have a lot of perspective. Now, if you put all of that together, together with a hard-working, industrious type of spirit, then you find that we have the fuel to have thriving businesses in Africa.
You're a successful businesswoman in business. How have you grown in your field, and how has your gender created any opportunities or limitations, if any?
But being a woman, I believe, confers a number of advantages. The advantages I spoke about earlier: multitasking, intuition, balance, perspective, follow through. I believe that as a woman, I'm better armed with those skills to succeed in the business world. As an organization, in Digital Jewels, we are a specialized IT and project management consulting and capacity building company. And our outlook has been that we can do what any business can do. And we have, by God's grace, achieved certain milestones, which I believe are quite noteworthy. We are today the first professional services company to be ISO certified, ISO 27001 certified. We have also attained the payment card industry data security standard, qualified security assessor status, if that means anything to you. We've run some knowledge sharing sessions over the past 5 years of our existence, and we've created publications from that. I mean, as a woman, I still face some of the challenges where people just assume that in my position I must be male, so I'm most likely, and my name is unisex, so I get addressed as a male very often. So for me, being a woman has been mainly positive. The only negative aspects that I would probably identify is the operating or networking modes of men, which is, meet late at night, meet in the nightclubs, meet at bars, which as a married woman I'm constrained not to do. Okay, and we know that in those meetings deals are struck, transactions are made. But what does that mean to me? It means I work a lot harder in the data.
What would you consider to be the greatest challenge of the younger generation of women, and what can you advise?
Well, there are several challenges that younger women will probably encounter. Some of them have already been surmounted, but they're still there. For a lot of women in Africa, a lot of girls in Africa, young ladies in Africa, they still are challenged with an inferior educational background. If a family faces a financial crisis and they must withdraw some of the children from school, it will most likely be the girls, unfortunately. Probably because they think they have less potential. I don't agree with that point of view at all. So some of them have an inferior educational background, but what is the response to that? It is to take ownership of your education and develop yourself as much as you can. Continually train yourself. There are outdated cultural norms that inhibit women my response would be to challenge that. There are also issues around the mindset and upbringing so that some women are constrained to think that they are inferior to men. Again, that you need to challenge, that you need to look at other women in Africa who have achieved and who have excelled and use them as role models to know that indeed those challenges are not insurmountable.
Women entrepreneurs are creating hope, jobs, and opportunities in every community worldwide. What is their impact and how have they affected their society?
Well, it's been varied, but generally I think that many women aspire to affect their community. If you look at female-run businesses, they would probably have an initiative that is aimed at impacting. Now, there are many male-run businesses that do the same, but there are also many male-run businesses that just want to make the money and move on. The tendency is that for many women, they want to make sure that they affect, the lives of their staff. They usually are more accommodating about some of the challenges that their female colleagues or staff face. They want to make sure that at the end of the day, they make things easier for the women that are coming behind them. So all of these things help. For every woman that's successful, it gives hope to so many others. For every woman that gives an opportunity, a chance to another young lady, so many others are inspired.
Right, Doyin Odufa, spoken as a true female entrepreneur in Africa.